got to say something. Lightweight, step at the side when we come in. Feel it in your chest, the syllables get pumping. People on the street get panic and start running. Words on loose leaf sheet, complete coming. I jump on my mind, I summon the rhyme, I'm dumping. Healing the blind, I promise to let the sun in. Sick of the dark ways, we march to the drumming. Jump when they tell us that they want to see jumping. Dad, I want to see some fist pumping. Wrist something, take back what's yours. Say something that you know they might attack you for. Cause I'm sick of being treated like I have before. Like a stupid standing for what I'm standing for. Like this war's really just a different brand of war. Like it doesn't cater to rich and a fan.
All right, welcome to Wide Awake Radio. I am your host, Charlie McGrath, and I did not hear the music end. Thursday, December 16th, that's what it is, and we're going to have Dex, the Vulcan, from pulsescan72 over there on YouTube, or Black Ops Trading. He's coming on in a minute, and I'm going to drop his latest video in, and I'm going to ask him what the heck's he doing over there, because he's got a new format, and we're going to talk about that, and we're also going to talk about what's going on in the markets, the week past and the week going forward, metals, tax bills, omnibus spending bills, and your questions as well. I talked to Dex a little bit before the show, and we decided we were going to have some fun tonight, and so we're going to give away an ounce of silver. If you're listening to the show and not in the chat room, go over to the wideawakenews.com, get in the chat room. What we're going to do is we're going to post a question in the chat room sometime in the last half of the show, and the answer needs to be called in, and Brett will he'll take the calls as they come in. The first right answer is going to get an ounce of silver. So if you're listening to the radio program, sorry, Brett, he just sent me a message saying "damn" because he's going to get overwhelmed here. But if you're listening to the program and you're not in the chat room, get over to wideawakenews.com, get in the chat, and enjoy the show. And post questions for Dex, because we got our resident day trader, our resident Wall Street expert in the house tonight. So it's a good night to be in the chat room and post questions. Looking at the first-time unemployment report, it comes out every Thursday, of course. The big news this morning was it was a decrease of 3,000 to 420,000 people filing first-time claims, down 3,000 from last week. All joy was being spewed across the business channels. And it is good news. I mean, it's good news if it was true, but in reality, 486,284 people applied for first-time claims last week, 66,000 more than the seasonally adjusted number. And looking at the extensions of emergency benefits, we are at 3,854,000 people are on emergency unemployment benefits, an increase of 142,000 over the week prior. This number is going to be bouncing back and forth quite violently over the coming weeks until these 99ers start to lose their benefits, and then again that number is in the millions that we'll be see falling off there in the next few weeks. All right, let's get right into business with Dex, because I hear him on the line. Dex, you with us?
I'm right here, my man. What's up with you?
All right, I didn't go into any big opening or anything tonight because I watched your video, and actually I watched both of them. And I'm going to be honest, what's going on? Is that going to be your new format? Every video you put out is going to be this little dude talking like that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Let me explain to you, little dude. Okay. Little dude is an additional format that I have because, sometimes we have some pretty rough weeks, and I want to loosen things up a bit, switch it up, spice it up a little bit to make people laugh a little bit, Yeah,
and, I just dumped it into the chat room, too. I just dumped your latest video in the chat room.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I thought about our last week here on the air. And so I thought, why not do something to kind of celebrate that? And so that's how that was born. So just me with my
like it.
Humor.
It is weird. I've seen this before. It must be a program you buy, correct?
Nah, it's actually free, man. A lot of people use it on YouTube.
Yeah, I've seen it before. I didn't know if it was software you had to buy or you could just get it for free. But apparently you can get it for free. Do you type in what you're going to say?
You can get it for free, but
yeah,
it's just one of those things. It's fun. It's pretty easy to make them. And I kind of like it, especially when I'm pressed for time, because then all I have to do is put one of those together real quick, and I can get my point across. So it does come in handy when you're pressed for time, because normally, I don't know about you, but when I'm doing my videos, you know, I have the chart. I have to go over all the analysis and point and figure on the chart. Then I have to record it. Then I got to edit it. Then I got to save it. Then I got to upload it. You know, it's a lot. And during the trading day, you know, I'm in the trading room. I'm instructing. I'm teaching. I'm trading for clients. I'm just doing so many different things. So, Lil Dude is just a way to, you know, I hired him to help me out. So he helps me out. How about that?
All right. Well, all the time you and I have been talking, you've been coming on the show every week. We talk multiple times a week usually. I've never seen you. I have no idea what you look like, but I saw Black Ops Trading new beta version. So now every time I hear your voice, I'm seeing this guy. This guy with the big fro and the big down
coat. I put you like this. He has a lot more hair than I do.
It's a... He's looking down. He's looking around. That it cracked me up. So, all right, Dex. What's going on? What's going on in the markets? We've been flat all week, slightly up, 40 up one day, down 20 the next day. Another week of the doldrums. Are we just trying to sail through the end of the year? And let me give a update now for all you guys into the metal, because it took a little bit of a hit today, but it's up 23 cents right now. It's back over 29. And gold's up to 13.75 in overseas action. Dollar's kind of languishing down 14, below 80 once again. But really, this is no news, Dex. I mean, we're in this $28 to $30 range on silver. We're in this $13.75 to $1,400 range on gold, and we're in this $80 ballpark on the dollar. Are we just trying to get through the end of this year, or are we waiting to see what happens with the lame duck session of Congress?
Actually, it's both. It's just like I had said, a few months back. They're not going to let this thing drop until they're ready for it to drop. So you're going to see window dressing up to the end of the year. A lot of the funds that were late to the party, they don't have a choice. They have to be long the market because that's how they're traditionally set up. So they have to go out now and buy all the high flyer stocks so they can make it look like they had them in their portfolio the whole year. And that's where the term window dressing comes from. So you're going to see some of that. You're going to see a lot of shifting. It is what it is, man. I mean, I've done I don't know how many videos this whole year showing everyone how they've actually been manipulating the market, how, the Federal Reserve will say one thing, but then they do another. They say, yeah, we want to keep interest rates low so we can stimulate the economy, but yet bond prices are crashing. You can't keep interest rates low with bond prices crashing. That's impossible.
No,
so they say one thing to another. They say that, the way they talk makes you think that they're going to allow the dollar to be weak. But that's not what they want at all. They want a strong dollar. They don't want a weak dollar. They want high interest rates, and they want a strong dollar. So in order to make that work, they're fighting against what we're trying to do. Because they know that as interest rates rise, traditionally speaking, it will bring down the price of gold. Right. So the only reason why price of gold would go up from a traditional standpoint would be because of interest rates. But when interest rates are moving in the opposite direction, then they say, okay, well, there's no inflation per se or hyperinflation, so let's not buy gold, let's sell it. But what they don't understand, and this is what the Federal Reserve doesn't understand, this is what Ben doesn't understand. People aren't buying the gold because they're economists, and they're saying, oh, it's not going to be, any hyperinflation. People are buying gold, because it's currency. And they know that the paper dollar is worthless. So they're buying it because they don't have a choice. They don't care about their economics. They don't care about, any of their policies. They're buying it because they don't have a choice. So people are going to continue to buy gold and silver. And it doesn't matter what the Fed does or doesn't do with the interest rates. It doesn't matter.
Well, I think it's very telling, Dex, that one of the reasons on 60 Minutes Bernanke gave for buying $600 trillion more, and that's what they announced, and it's going to be far, far more than that, was in order to keep the interest rates down. And I posted an article over at the website today. Actually, Bonnie did, because she does all that. But Treasury's having one of the worst months since 1990. So it isn't working if that was the goal. And after this break, I want to talk about that a little bit more, what a bond crisis would look like, because we certainly aren't there yet. 3.5% is not a crisis. And we take calls, 877-342-6673. We'll be right back with Dex, the Vulcan, for pulsescan72, and more Wide Awake Radio right after this. All right, welcome back to Wide Awake Radio. My name's Charlie McGrath. My website's wideawakenews.com. If you're listening and not in the chat room, go to the chat room and post your questions or comments for myself or Dex. Dex,
Yo.
I didn't know exactly which way to take the show tonight, because you said you wanted to have fun, and I don't know if you watched the video I put out last night. It certainly had nothing to do with being fun, but it did have a lot to do with being frustrated watching this malaise in D.C., this smoke and mirrors tactic of having us watch the debate on this extension of taxes, and how this giving the taxes tax break that isn't even a tax break, it's just a continuation of current policy, is going to somehow spark the economy and grow jobs. And in reality, this isn't going to do anything. I mean, I hate to sound like I'm somebody that wants to increase taxes, but the fact of the matter is, they're increasing the budget. We know by this omnibus package by 2% almost, and they're going to keep tax rates low. That means we're just going to be borrowing more and more money. But my question for you, because we're going to put on the tinfoil hat tonight, what does it matter if they borrow money, if they give a tax break, if they increase taxes? Did they really even care at this point if we were close to any kind of a balanced budget? Or is it all part of the plan to run the debt up so ridiculously high so the Federal Reserve can continue to buy the debt, and now that they're our largest debt holder, end up with ultimate power and sway over not only the economy but the country in general, and everybody who's sitting in a home right now that has a mortgage will be paying homage to the Federal Reserve?
You just said it.
Okay.
You can all go home now.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. That they're going to tax us to oblivion. I try to approach things in a different manner, so I don't sound like a broken record. But here's the thing: we know what they're doing, even though they try to pretend like they don't know what they're doing. FEMA train. The bottom line is they want to tax us into oblivion. The Federal Reserve wants to own it all. They're going to own it all, and practically they already do. I mean, they get to do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it. And part of that is making things so unaffordable so that we have no choice but to come crawling and begging to them. And then once they got you totally dependent on them, then they take whatever they've given you away. And that's how they do. They've always done it that way. So they're already breaking everybody down. I mean, the only jobs left now, just like I said in my video, is Walmart and McDonald's. And that's how they want it. And that's how it's going to be. And pretty soon, you won't be able to get in there either. Here's what's going to happen, and it's already happening. You'll have an easier time getting into Harvard than you will getting a job at Walmart or McDonald's. Because if 40 million people are reliant on the food stamp program, that's 40 million people that are going to be forced to work in those jobs. Well, they don't have 40 million job openings. So what's going to happen? What do you do when there are only X amount of jobs and there are tons of people that are trying to fill those positions? Somebody's going to be out of work.
Wages are going to go down. I mean, we're going to see a continuation of what we have, Dex. We're going to see a continuation of the destruction of the middle class. We're going to see a continuation of the standard of living because the average wage of the middle class is falling, and more people are falling into poverty. And we're going to see a continuing swelling of the poverty prevention measures that are out there until it just all collapses under its own weight. Period.
That's what they want. They're just waiting for that moment to do it when they can pull the plug. It's like I said before. Enjoy things while you can. Make the money and do the things you can do while you can, while you still can. Because pretty soon you won't be able to do it. You're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to go and come freely the way you want to. It's just not going to go down like that. And they're going to make it very difficult for you to do the things that you want to do. And not that they're going to be having to restrict travel or anything like that, but it's almost like this. It's like you go into the store to buy a loaf of bread, right? No one's preventing you from going in the store to buy a loaf of bread, but you won't go in the store to buy a loaf of bread because you can't afford it. Now, can you say that they're keeping you from buying that loaf of bread? No. You have the freedom to go in there and buy it. But if you don't have any money to buy it, you can't go in there and buy it. So it's sort of like keeping you from things covertly instead of overtly. It's almost, I like to put it on the level of, how can I say this delicately? It's almost like graduating high school with no skills, no job work experience, and horrible grades. You're doomed. Now, is anyone stopping you from going out and doing anything? No. But the likelihood of you being able to do anything is very limited. So that's what I mean by,
you're talking about your opportunities are gone. You're just going
to... Right, they just take that away from you. And that's what happens. So they're taking everything away. And they're doing it by stealth. And they're doing a little bit at a time, a little bit here, a little bit there. And pretty soon, there's nothing left. There's nothing left to take. You've taken all the freedoms. You've taken everything. And before people realize or wake up to really what has, happened to them, it's too late. What you going to do? There's nothing you can do. It's already too late. It's done. What's done is done. And like I said before, people talk about wanting to do something, but they ain't going to do nothing.
It's even worse than that.
They ain't going to do nothing later.
It's even worse than that. It's even worse than that because I've seen a steady increase in, I don't want to call them the naysayers, but maybe it's critical folks on my videos on Warren's. I don't know how much negative critiquing you get on yours because yours is more market and analysis oriented.
I got people already making videos about me. It's one thing just to say some negative comment. I get people making videos about me already.
Hold up, Dex. We're going to take this break. This will be the last break of the show. If you want to call in and post questions or argue with Dex, because he likes to do that too, 877-342-6673. If you're not in the chat room, we got 90 people in there. Get in there. The question's coming up. The trivia question that is worth 1 ounce of silver is coming up shortly after this break. We'll be back with more Wide Awake Radio right after this. Welcome back to Wide Awake Radio. I'm Charlie McGrath, your host. Our guest, it's Thursday, so of course it's the Vulcan Dex from pulsescan72 from Black Ops Trading. Dex, we were just talking about the situation that we're in. The Federal Reserve is going to end up owning everything in this country soon. Just, it could be days from now. It could be minutes from now. We could start seeing the Federal Reserve gobbling up municipal bonds, outright printing money. Even though Bloomberg is doing all they can, and all the other media outlets are doing all they can to try to get you to the idea that we're on the road to recovery. Matter of fact, I'm looking at John Rubino's website right now, the dollarclaps.com, and he pulls a lot of mainstream medias as well as alternative media stories. Philadelphia manufacturing expands by most since 2005. That's a Bloomberg story. Jobless claims in U.S. unexpectedly fell to 420,000. Another Bloomberg story. And then he mixes in some actual news that is more based in reality, a Mish story, avalanche of bids wanted for munis. The municipal bonds are dying for people to buy them. Nobody wants to buy them. And, we go along just like everything's fine in this country, and the mainstream media pumps out this garbage about Philadelphia manufacturing expanse since 2005. Who in their right mind, what kind of absolute moron would have to see that headline and say, oh, wow, well, I guess things are just getting better. Yet I take videos, I make videos and take comments, and I'm getting people trying to explain to me how things are, how this genre in YouTube, everybody in this chat room, maybe not everybody, but you would all probably fall in the same category as myself. We're doom and gloomers, and we need to get on board with the reality that that everything's under control, and these people that are sitting in D.C. or sitting in the halls of power, the true halls of power on Wall Street, have everything under control. And the reality of it is, we've come so far so fast. It's shocking to me. I mean, how can we be getting people searching out videos like yours and mine on YouTube, or searching out alternative media shows like this one, and then coming in and saying, well, you guys are just doom and gloomers. You're worried about something that is never going to happen. It's never going to come. It's very discouraging, and I'm sure it's discouraging for the people watching the videos and reading these comments when they see somebody just outright ignoring reality. See, the public has been trained in this country, and I'm more convinced of this after a couple years of being in alternative media. I'm more convinced of this than I've ever been convinced of anything in my life. We are trained and brought up from a very early age not to focus and pay attention to any one subject. And this starts in school. They don't even want daydreamers in school anymore. They want you focused on one subject for a very limited amount of time and then flip to something else. And your news is set up that way. Your information is set up that way. Your politicians set up that way. You know, it's not coincidence that this lame duck session of Congress, we have all these bills that are bottlenecking right here. You know, the government is going to shut down Saturday. We have an emergency. We have to pass a $1.1 trillion omnibus spending bill that's going to give, in a time of Great Depression, it's going to give the government even more money to spend than they had last year. And, oh, my God, it's a lame duck session of Congress. We have to pass this tax relief bill. If we don't, then we're going to have Armageddon. We have to get it done right now because 5 out of 6 economists that we pick out of thin air say that we're going to go into depression if we don't pass this tax cut. And the only one getting tax cuts are these criminals on Wall Street, $144 billion bonus babies. You know, people like me, Dex, people like you, people listening in this audience, there's no break coming for us. You know, there's no help up for the little guy, yet we still have these naysayers, these people with their head in the sand, leaving comments that, oh, well, we're not as bad a shape as Japan because they have 200% of their GDP in debt. And it drives me absolutely crazy, and it takes all hope out of the hope ship. The sails on the hope ship are not full of air. You know, they're full of idiots out there who believe everything that they hear, and until it all just comes apart and blows up in our face, nobody's going to realize that, hey, we've been lied to. We've been, you know, our wealth has been stolen. Wall Street's healthy. You know what? We're not healthy. We've been buying into the lie, and here we are. Here we are holding the bag. Merry Christmas.
Well, that's because, you know, many reasons. I mean, you got to give them a break, though, Charlie. I mean, see, you know, you have a filter on your water. You know, they don't. They're still drinking the chloride, okay? They're still under the blue pill. They have not woken up. So it's not really their fault. You can't really blame them. I mean, they're caught up with all the different television shows and sports entertainment, so you know, they don't really understand that. And like you said earlier, you know, they went to, you know, the public school system and were taught to have absolutely no attention span whatsoever. So, hey, they're brainwashed. They have not been unplugged from the matrix. So they're not going to think about the things that we're talking about. It's going to frighten them to the point of inaction. And they don't want to be frightened or afraid. They want to be told what to do and how to think because that's what they're used to. And anything that challenges their opinion is automatically seen with skepticism and seen with controversy. So obviously, if you're saying something that is contrary to my belief system and you're causing my worldview to crumble or you're challenging me in any way, it's automatically viewed as negative, okay? See, the brainwashing goes very, very deep. Look at all the pop stars that have come out. And when I say pop stars, I don't mean music. I'm talking about our celebrities with all this alternative new age philosophy, telling you to tune out anything that's negative. And by negative, they mean anything that challenges your sense of feeling happy. So basically, they can't study anything that's controversial like history. They can only study things like, how can I say this, politics. They can study flowers, things like that, but they can't study anything that has substance or truth to it, because then it will cause them to vomit. And they don't want to vomit because vomiting doesn't feel good. So don't tell me about, what happened was, a conspiracy. They don't want to hear that, because then you're going to cause something bad to happen in their brain, which is called thinking, critically thinking. And it's a dangerous thing to destroy a man's worldview. It's very, very dangerous. Change can be violent. Truth can be violent. And most people are not equipped to accept truth of any kind, truth whatsoever, because we've been conditioned to look at everything as negative. It doesn't make me happy. And that's just how it is. And then it make matters worse. The brainwashing has been so deep as to cause, how do I say this, sort of like an electromagnetic shock treatment, cognitive conditioning. There you go. They've also done some cognitive conditioning where pain is associated with challenging their authority. And by pain, I don't mean necessarily physical pain, but the pain of being ostracized and exiled out of the group, such as the way the media does their fake mock interviews, where they have someone come on.
They're not interviews at all. They're propaganda cheerleader speeches. Dex, hold on one sec, okay? Well, I just want to announce we're not going to take this last break. We're going to just be talking for the remainder of the show, about another 20 minutes. Over 90 people in the chat room now. I'm going to ask the trivia question in about 3 minutes, as soon as Dex it gives me a chance to jump back on here. So if you're listening and not in the chat room, get in the chat room, because I'm posting the question in there. I'm not going to announce it on the air. All right, Dex, go.
All right.
We were talking about the so-called interviews.
It's very deep, because even with the interviews, anyone who challenges the interviewer in any way is automatically looked as being a fool, a clown, don't know what you're talking about, you're crazy. And traditionally, an interview is exactly what it is. It's an interview. It's, let me ask you some questions that the public wants to know. Let's ask you some questions. But now it's on a different level. It's not an interview, it's an interrogation. It's designed to clown the opposition. It's designed to shut up anything that questions the status quo or questions the system. It's frowned upon. And that's the way it's done now. It's not news. It's entertainment, and not only is it entertainment, but it's brainwashing, and all the interviews are staged. Even the questions are staged. And they put this stuff right in front of us, and no one says anything. I mean, they create movies and shows showing you and demonstrating exactly how they do it, how they pimp us. And yet, we do nothing. I mean, look at the latest show that came on TV, V. Now, people who are young, they think V is new and it's a cool show. But V goes back to the late 70s. Those of us who are old heads, we know the real V, the miniseries that came on TV back in the late 70s. But anyway, in V, one of the first couple of episodes, they showed the interview with the alien lady. Now, they were already told exactly what to ask the alien and how the alien was going to respond. Anything outside of that would be frowned upon, and it could even ruin your career. Okay? So notice when they stepped out of line of the questioning or the staged interview, the alien just got up and walked away. So they show you right in your face, again, this is how we do things. Yeah, it's a show, but they've conditioned it and programmed it in such a way that you only see it as a show and not them parading themselves in front of you.
Right.
So that's why I always go back to saying, ain't nobody gonna do nothing. You know, punks jump up to get beat down, and that's what the FEMA camps are for. So they're just waiting for the slightest little bit of infraction and let somebody jump up and try to riot. They'll squash it so quick you won't even think anything happened. Because they know that, look, come on, man, we're Americans. We're fat, we're lazy, we're out of shape, we're sick, we're struggling, we can't breathe right because of all the chemtrail spraying. We can't think critically because of all the chloride we've been drinking in the water. We're totally sick and fighting off disease because of all the immunizations and vaccinations and flu shots and all the synthetic drug prescriptions we're taking and medications. And, man, don't even let me roll out. I'm going to chill right now. Go ahead and ask your trivia question.
I'm not going to ask the trivia question. I'm posting in the chat room. I'm writing the question down right now. Yeah, you know, and it does take away all hope. You know, no, I shouldn't say all hope. It does deflate you when you realize that we've just had this pimping, as you like to call it, of the wealth of the country, and not even 2 years later, a little over 2 years later, it's like most of the people are standing around like they have a hangover, and they don't even realize what was the cause of this hangover. They want to now blame the people who are saying, look, here's the truth. They want to blame people like Salente, and they want to blame people like Schiff and tell them to shut up. They keep saying the same things over and over again. Well, these guys were right before, and guess what? They're still right.
Well, it goes, see, I like to give people hope, and I like to give people solutions, but the hope and the solutions that people are looking for is not the hope and solutions that they are going to see happen. See, people want to be told, you know what, this is all we need to do. If we unite, if we vote this way or do this or hold this rally or that rally, we can do this. No, sir. It goes a lot deeper than that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The latest video, what did I say? Or what did little dude tell you? What did little dude tell you? What did the little elitist tell you? He told you the last time y'all Americans tried to stand up and do something, we infiltrated you without even thinking about it, without even the blink of an eye. You started your Tea Party and we came up in there and broke that up just like that, like it wasn't nothing, right in front of your face. Let's be honest. Is the Tea Party not discombobulated?
The Tea Party is...
I mean, come on. How powerful are they? Come on, let's be real. Can we equate their power with any other established political arm out there? There's noteworthy. Are they the Teamsters? Are they, one of these unions? Huh? Are they J.P. Morgan? What did they do? What did they successfully do? Nothing. People don't want to hear that. I'm not being mean. I mean, I am a jerk, but I'm not being mean. I'm just stating the obvious facts. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I will never have, 5,000 or 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, because what I say, it hurts people's feelings because they think that I'm being mean or, whatever, or anti-American, but I'm not. I'm just stating some facts that are very difficult to hear. And, if more people came out to the Black Ops trading room, they would hear these kind of painful explanations every day. People don't like to be told the truth, especially when it's painful or it goes against what they've been told. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. It's not comfortable, and the answer, the solution, they ain't gonna like. They're not gonna like it. And I'll tell you what the answer and solution is. I'll tell you 2 seconds. Here it is. The answer and the solution is this. The only way to turn this around, okay, and stop all this madness right now, I'll give you the first thing that we have to do. The first thing we have to do is not march on Washington. The first thing we need to do is turn off the television. If everybody just turned off the TV right now, that'll be stage one. Trust me, they will feel that right in their pocket right now, immediately. The next thing they have to do, everyone, is stop frivolous spending. Stop going to McDonald's and eating out and eating the GMO food. If everybody just refused to do that right now, immediately the economy will be impacted. If everyone decided right now, you know what, I'm going to stop supporting all those organizations that are destroying the country and the fabric of our society, things will stop in a heartbeat. Because in order for them to keep this paradigm going is with our spending, our foolish spending. Like when people were standing in line for hours, lines wrapped around the building to buy the new iPhone, if they would have decided we're not going to do that, we're going to take this money and we're going to use it to help someone else who may be struggling, then they will automatically be shut down. The day that everyone says, we're not going to buy anything today, we're just going to start saving our money and we're going to help each other out and help the family next door that's struggling and buy some we're gonna buy some precious metals, some gold and silver, and we're gonna start stocking up on food and water, and we're gonna start preparing as if there was gonna be a nuclear strike tomorrow. The moment everyone starts acting like that, the whole economy is shut down immediately, and they won't have a choice but to listen to the people. But let me tell you something. Nobody's going to do that. Ain't nobody going to turn off the TV. Ain't nobody going to stop going to McDonald's. Ain't nobody going to help their neighbor like that. We too selfish. That's why I'm saying see, people keep saying, where's the solution? I'm telling you what the solution is, but they can't do it. So what good is it to tell you what all the different solutions are, the things you can do to stop them in their tracks? But people won't do it. I made a video not long ago exposing the truth about Bank of America. And I said, you need to take action right away. Man, I got so much flack from that. Seriously. Again, people don't want to hear the truth. Anything that challenges their comfortable lifestyle, they don't want to hear it. That's why I'm saying that most people are not going to make it, man. And that's why, because we don't come together. We don't care about our neighbor. Let me ask, everyone answer yourself this question. You know a family or someone who is struggling. I'm not talking about the person strung out on crack. I'm not talking about the dude who was just too lazy to ever get a job when jobs were plentiful and available. I ain't talking about that person. I'm talking about that family that you know about that you ain't tried to help and you could have helped. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
No. Here's what I'm saying to you. I want you to hear this.
Hold on. I want to get look, Dex. Hold on. Before I run out of time, and I want to get into that with you because it's geographical, and I'm telling you this is true. And I know you live in D.C. I know Warren lives in New York, but out here in the West, it's different. I want and I think it could be different, smaller locales around the country. But before we go on, before we run out of time, the trivia question. Okay, and I posted it in the chat room because, and I'm doing this because of the outstanding turnout we've had in the chat room. Upwards of 100 people almost every single night. The question that I posted in the chat room was, what was the day, month, and year that the Federal Reserve was created? Now, I put that question out tonight because it's very, very reminiscent of what we have right now, and we have every single year. We have these pieces of legislation that get rammed down our throats, and that's a polite way to say it, right around the end of the year, Christmas time. The Federal Reserve was created on December 23rd, 1913, and it was Bill HR 7837. You didn't have to know the bill number. But Chris, are you on the line?
Yep.
Okay, well, thanks for holding. And yep, thanks for holding. And I know he had the right answer because, wow, you called in 15 seconds after I posted it in the chat room, so you didn't either you knew it off the top of your head or you looked it up really quick. And for everybody listening, I knew he had the right answer because Brett was screening the calls and he had the answer, so the first right answer won it. And here's the thing: I realized there was 100 people who gave the answer in the chat room, and most of them were correct. But you had to call in, and Chris, you were the first to call in. So congratulations on that. I have your address. I will get a 1-ounce silver round out to you immediately. I'll put it in the mail tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, well, call in when you get it. So,
adding on to what Bex was saying.
Sure, go ahead.
We need to get back to the community and avoid the big corporations because they're the ones that sunk us in the first place.
I agree with that 100%. Dex, do you want to talk to that?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear what he said.
He said that we have to get back to community, and the big corporations are what's sinking this nation. And I know that if you're on the right side or on the red team, you know that they would, Chris, they would call you a socialist. You know, like they call Bernie Sanders. He's a socialist, but he says the same thing. I agree with it. The big corporations, 21,000 transactions by the Federal Reserve. A lot of them went to these big corporations. They have no loyalty to the American people. They have no loyalty to our Constitution. They have no loyalty keeping jobs in this country. Matter of fact, they've worked diligently at getting the jobs shipped out around the country. You know, a listener, Tracy, sent me an article showing how the financial services industry has 5 lobbyists for every member of Congress. So, there's 2,500 lobbyists just in the financial services industry, and they're there doing their master's bidding and getting legislation passed that lets them destroy the country, plain and simple. So, Chris, I agree with you. You're right. We have to get back to community. I think it's time, if we were really going to affect change quickly, we need to scrap this free trade garbage that's led us down for the last 40 years, led us to where we are. And we have to, eliminate income taxes and impose tariffs. That's what built this country. Our forefathers knew it. And here we are living in the central banking plan scheme, and we're imploding.
Well, we've been warned so many times, too, all throughout history, from Jefferson to other presidents. They've all warned us. JFK died because he warned us.
Absolutely. Chris, I hate to cut you off. We only have about a minute left, so I will get your silver out in the mail tomorrow, and then I want you to come on next week when you get it so you can verify that you got it. And thank you for being Johnny on the spot with the answer. 15 seconds. You must have knew it off the top of your head. So congratulations on that. Dex, tell us what's coming up next week. Tell us what to look for. Plug your blog site and wrap it up for us.
All right. If you want to come on over to Black Ops Trading, just come over to the blog at pulsescan.blogspot.com, and we'll hook you up. As far as what to look for next week, we have an alert going out, strong possibility of some very, very huge up moves in the precious metals, and we also have a possible 100 to 200 point swing up in the Dow right before the end of the year. The Dow should probably close somewhere around the 11,005 to 11,600, somewhere around there. That's where we'll probably end the year. And then the first week or so in January, there's possible we could see a move to the downside in the equities as the precious metals start to decouple from the equity side of things.
Dex, greatly appreciated as always. I look forward to our Thursday discussions, and more so they're turning away from the markets and turning into a reality check. So I appreciate you coming on. Thank you to Chris, who is Dex. Wait a minute, this is gonna be tough to say. Dex, my best bud. Dex, my best bud in the chat room. was the winner tonight. So thank you very much for taking part in the Silver Challenge. I will do this again in a future date. I appreciate everybody showing up again tonight. Stay tuned because Jeff Rentz is coming up next. Open Topic Friday tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Have a good night.
Meanwhile, the leader just talks away, stuttering and mumbling for nightly news never played. The rest of the world watching at the end of the day.